Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome back. It's Shay Seeking, and this is Not Your Mama's Bible Study, along with a little bit of his storyline. So, we're going to go ahead and look at this is going to be part 2 to that whole thing that we were doing on Matthew 13 about Jesus and his parables, and looking a little bit deeper into what may have been said. Again, I'm not here to tell you what it is, what it ain't. I'm just sharing with you guys what I feel like it looks like to me. So we're going to go ahead and go back in. And I noticed when I had to close that video out because I had something to do, that we were looking at seed. And I wanted to go ahead and go back to that real quick. Because while we're talking about seeds in this chapter, I wanted to go ahead and look at a different way of spelling seed. I think that this is it. No. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and share this version of seed because this is the version that was used by some of the earlier colonizers. And I wanted to see exactly, I know the Bible is using seed as in SEED, but I just wanted to go ahead and see what we could find if we came here. So we are on, we're somewhere around Matthew 13, maybe around 22. Is where we left off, I think, last time, but I was interrupted, so I can't really remember. We're just going to start there. And let's just go ahead and look at this because this is what they were doing. They were coming to seed the earth, meaning the Aboriginal people, and yield things. Okay? So, 1630, are we in the sixth day? I think I went too far. Okay, we're going to go down to, okay, we already did your numbers in, okay, we'll just go here. Genesis 1 and 20. Then God said, let the waters teem with the fish and other life. These are the living creatures because you are dead by law. Okay? You are that coffin at the bottom of, if you Google Illuminati George Washington's image, you'll see that structure that I'm trying to show you of. And I'm going to show you a whole bunch of different variations of this that we may not have paid attention to before. But that coffin at the bottom of his footstool would be the corpse. Meaning whoever died or the earth that's dead underneath. You remember that heaven is my whatever and earth is my footstool. You know, that just keeps coming to my mind when I see that image. Okay. And when I look at everything else that's showing the earth, especially with the caste system, showing the earth trodden underfoot or the fixtures or firmament placed on top of the earth. Okay. So again, these are the living creatures that have been brought forth, okay? Because they're living and you are dead by law because you're saying that you're a black person or an African American, which there's no such thing. Those are not nationalities, okay? So again, this is kind of like the parables that we were talking about Jesus. Just tell us what it is so that we can know what to do, or you have some other reason why you're not, okay? So, and let the skies be filled with the birds of every kind. Again, the skies is meaning something at the upper end of that caste system that we're talking about. Okay, because these are everyday foreigners or natives or indigenous people or white people or whatever. And these are representing the Aboriginal peoples or the original peoples of those lands. And this is the enmity between their seed and her seed and their seed. It's not a real, it's something that a division, meaning that you're dead and they're alive and they work for this and you need to just follow this and stay here. Okay. There was another one that I had up here that I think I wanted to show you guys. Yes. Okay. Because I was going to show you guys this here video about the, this is another pyramid thing here, and why I think that the fowl of the air, if you look at the Spanish crest, then you'll notice that there. Why I say that these are the fowl of the air. And while he's just saying right here, let the birds gather on the top. Okay. Spain, again, Spain, again, their eagle. They love that eagle, the American eagle. This is why I like some of these things when it comes to representing or showing the fact that we are who we are, but at the same time, what is theirs and what is ours and what is what. Okay. And then you have your Native American Indians, supposedly here. And then enslaved persons brought, and they had to put brought from Africa and the Caribbean. Most of you were brought from the Caribbean or brought from America and placed into the Indies or the Caribbean, vice versa, along with other people that were placed. You know, okay. So that was another form of it. This is another video that I have to edit and then share, but let's keep on reading, okay? So with every kind, so God created the great sea of creatures, okay, and every sort of fish and every kind of bird, and God looked at them with pleasure and blessed them all. Again, we know what blessed can mean. It can mean like anointed or given something by God, or and it can also mean smeared with blood, okay, them all. Now, I don't know if this means that these are his blood, these foreigners' blood relatives, because it said go ahead and find the animals that's like these animals and bring more of them and stock the oceans, and come on, bring a lot of them. I like what's going on with the mixture of these people and those people, so let's go ahead. Again, this is just what I'm seeing here, okay? You don't have to agree, but to think that this nonsense that you learn in religious indoctrination stations is closer to the truth than what I'm saying, I beg to differ. So, so it said, and looked at them with pleasure and blessed them, multiply and stock the ocean, he told them. And to the birds, he said, let your numbers increase. So to the birds, again, I think we're talking about the French or the darker French or the darker colored Spaniards or the darker colored, whatever. I think that they're talking about the people that look like us that were not us when they told them just to fill the earth. Okay. And again, I think they're still talking about Germany, because they have a file. You'll just have to look into it, okay? Again, if you're new to the channel, welcome. You can go back to some of my other videos, and I usually talk about a lot of different things, but the same thing to keep us anchored, and you'll get the gist of what I'm trying to say, okay? And he told them, and to the birds, he said, let your numbers increase, fill the earth. That ended the 5th day. And God said, let the earth bring forth every kind of animal, cattle, okay, and reptiles, okay. And I think that this, okay, forget it, and wildlife of every kind. And so it was, okay. And I think that these are talking about Aboriginal peoples, is what I'm thinking. God made all sorts of wild animals and cattle and reptiles, and God was pleased with what he had done. Then God said, let us make a man, someone like ourselves, to be the master of all the life upon the earth and the sky and the sea. And that's what he did. Someone to preside over it, okay? And that's why we have a president today. So God made man like his maker, like God. Did God make man? Man and maid did he make them. So he made them male and female. Now you can interpret it how you want. I think I see what we're talking about. You think that this transgender thing is new, and meantime, some of the people that you idolize have been this way the whole time. The gay movement was just a way to move this into being the mega thing that we stand on, that they wanted to inject and then build laws around it so that these people will be free to do these things. And that's why some of your celebrities are coming out now talking about they're letting their child be transgender and they're doing all these things, but they've been doing it. They are the same way. They've been doing it. It is accustomed to their system. For the eunuchs, in order to go and work in one of these arenas of God, most of these people had to be castrated in the antiquities. To think that it has stopped because you don't hear about it and they don't talk about it. Okay. So, God made them, okay, so let us make them, okay, so we did that. And that's why I think it's called woman, and why Adam said, great, this is flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. And she was taken, I'm going to name her woman because she was taken out of man. Whoa, man. And woman can be interchangeable, meaning for both or dual. So you can go ahead and look it up in etymology and see what it says and interpret it your way. So to be a master of all of these, okay? So, and God blessed them and told them, multiply and fill the earth and subdue it. You can go ahead and type in subdue. Earth is meaning Aboriginal peoples, okay? Subdue them. You are masters of the fish and the birds and all animals. So they are already masters of all of these birds and these fish and all the animals. And look, maybe this is the beast of the field, some of their offspring too. And look, I have given you the seed-bearing plant throughout the earth and all the fruit trees for your food. Okay, and food can be something else different too. You would have to look that up in etymology. I have given all the grass and plants to the animals and the birds for their food. Then God looked over all that he had made, and it was excellent in every way, and this ended the sixth day. Okay, now here are some of the keynotes from what we just read. In the beginning, God created. Okay, be implied. I could go back through, but again, we're just not going to do that. I'm going to read the ones that sound interesting. Or over the cloud of darkness, or over the darkness and waters, and even over the dark gaseous mass. There is no right way to translate these words literally. And there was evening and there was morning in one day. This is one period of time. Again, I think that when we're talking about the second day, we're talking about the 1200s. The fifth day is talking about the 1500s. The sixth day, 1600s. The seventh day, 1700s. Okay? And it's saying that on the second day was a period of time. Again, it's saying the third day was a period of time. And again, it is in my eyes. Okay? And literally men. For K, where is K? J, K. Where's K? No, I'm not seeing it. Oh, let us make man, someone like ourselves, to be the master of all life on the earth. And so God made man like his maker. Like God did God make man. Man and maid. And maid can be interchangeable for male and female too. Did he make them? So again, what are we talking about here? Because it says literally man. So if Beyonce, let's just say, was born a boy, and she was going to serve in this temple of God, meaning she would be somewhere up here with the merchants and the landowners, because they're brands. Okay, this business corporation, consumerism, all that is sticking here. Landowners are the ones that make your laws and everything, take money from you, rape you, taxes and all that stuff, your judicial system. So all that I think is wrapped up in that one, the Vishya. We'll say that's what it's called. Okay, so again, say that this is the case, and she was castrated at a young age, because there's a such thing as not just eunuchs, but castrados, which are young males that have been, a lot of them through church, like a lot of these singers say that they come from, but then they turn around and start doing all these things that's unspeakable, and people still follow them that go to church. And let's just talk about the fact that this is what they would do before the child was 7 or before puberty, so that they can change the dynamics and make a man more womanish, is what it says. Okay? And what actually happens is they stop producing some of the male hormones and things and workings of a man, and they start to feminize or effeminize or be effeminate. Okay? And it helps with their voice, but they have a big, large chest area. The rib cage is large, which is why some of these celebrities get ribs removed sometimes. And it opens up so that they can use a lot of air in their lungs and these other things in order to sing. But again, some of these people were sexual used for sexual reasons, because your people that are up there at the top, this is what they like, this is what they are, this is what they make their children, this is what people have to become to enter the kingdom of God. Okay? So, when we talk about them coming to America and castrating men, it was more to it than just castrating them. Okay? So, when we say this, to say that plastic surgery has come a long way. If you look at old movies in Hollywood, you can still see Adam's apples loud and clear. Large hands, long arms. These are some of the things that couldn't be fixed by the castration of these people. Okay, they usually end up with extremely long limbs, and we see this is they give us this woe man and tell us that this is what everyday women should look like. So we start sucking and cutting and nipping and tucking and trying to kill ourselves to look like something or someone that would like to be like you. Because and then we wonder why these people get these surrogates all of a sudden instead. And I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong. So like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not judging them. I'm just explaining to you how this has been going on from the test of time. For us to think that this transgender thing is something new, you have to be then lost your damn mind. It's been there. And a lot of people that you love, especially when it comes to A-listers, are these beings. Just like I can't tell you for sure, and I haven't peeked between her legs, but I have seen things that are very eerie between the legs of some of these women from my studies. And a lot of these women have Adam's apples in some of their images. And a lot of these women, not saying that a woman can't have these types of things. Okay. But they have lots of characteristics that explain what would happen if a young male was castrated at a certain time. So it's funny that all of these people in Hollywood have these long necks and these proportionate bodies that people in real life don't have. And now all of our children and all of these people are thriving to look like something that is not normal, that would like to be you and have a baby for real. They don't have to shut down the whole hospital so that they can sneak a baby in because they can't have children. Or then they had a couple of children, but then now they have to get surrogates to have the rest of their children. No, it's because you never had any in the first place. There's a such thing as a moon bump. There's a such thing as Hollywood. They can make people look pregnant for parts, and all these people are playing parts, even your president. So again, they can do what they want to do. And if this is a prized possession and she is mentoring the minds of all of these young women and turning them to shit, then hey, I'm sure she can have a group of people that live with her and produce what we need to see that would look like a pregnant woman. Have you ever seen one of these women? They like to show their stomach off, but have you ever seen one of these women show their stomach off while the baby is moving their feet and all these other things? Why do their stomachs just look perfect and stuff when they get later on in pregnancy? They don't have, now I've had twins, I've had regular births, I've had C-sections, I've had all of it. So again, why don't their stomachs look like ours do when you're 8 months and 9 months and the baby is sitting to one side of your stomach and is lopsided? Why doesn't this happen? Why do they snatch back so properly after having a baby? And no stretch marks and all these things. And they have cream to do. No, nonsense. They just can't have children. But now they want to do uterus plants, and they've already started taking uteruses, which we have to keep in mind that lots of our melanated young women are missing. And these parts of melanated people, everybody goes into human trafficking. They don't discriminate. But when it comes to melanated people, the parts are worth more. So you be the judge. Because these beings have multiplied on the earth. And just like I think it's Paul maybe that said, or I can't remember exactly who it said, that there's 3 types of eunuchs. Some that were done at birth, some that have chose to do it themselves, and some that have entered into the kingdom of God. So again, go back and look at some of your kings and queens. Go back and look at some of these so-called first ladies from the earliest time and come on this way and look at them in their youth and follow their transition through the elder. And then we wonder why these people get plastic surgery all the time. It's not because they want to stay young. It's because they want to appear to be women, which they are not. So, way off track. So, we're talking about making man in our own image and everything like this so that they can serve in that temple. Okay? Seed-bearing plants, earth, fruit trees for your food, and the grass and the plants. Okay, and that was everything in the 6th day. And like I said, the keynotes in here are talking about these days are representing periods of time, just like I'm saying. So I'm not saying anything different than the Bible is saying here. And this is just a living Bible. It's not a new living, nothing like that. It's a living Bible. Okay. And again, in K, it says they're literally talking about men. He didn't say men and women. So again, because Adam was happy because man was taken out and they didn't have to be embarrassed anymore to be naked because they both had some kind of procedure done where he stitched up thereof. I've already done a video. I don't know if I uploaded it or not about some of this stuff. And what they used to do back in the day is take a piece of a rib from someone and they would transplant it into a clitoris in order to create a man, along with doing other things to alter the appearance of these people. Still hard to find out or to detect a female to male, but when it comes to male to female, there are always tall telling signs. Okay? So that means that these people are creating these people are the same way. Okay? And it says literally, let us make man in our own image and our likeness, literally. And there was evening and 40, and this was the sixth day. So again, I think that had to do with the 1600s. You can be the judge on your own. Let's keep on reading. Okay. So again, he have given every herb yielding seed. Okay. So 1630s, again, I think we're in the sixth day here. Okay. So to yield, give away. Okay. Aboriginal means away or taken away or removed or whatnot. Okay. From French cedar. Now, here we go talking about these cedar trees and cedars of Lebanon and all these other things. To yield, to give place, to give up some right or property. Again, so when they've taken you away and tell you from Africa and you claim that, you're removed from your true status, while Native Americans are claiming to maybe be Indian and getting all of these funds and these things that they're given, supposed to be they're getting your booty or the spoils, okay, while you end up with nothing. You're still waiting for reparations because you are under the wrong nationality. You're under a racial group pertaining to people from Africa, and they are there are peoples from whatnot. When you look at your little SS whatever, I wanted to say 180, but I'm not sure if that's what it is, on your social security form when they ask you what race you are. Okay. So again, those are living creatures. You are dead. Okay. So some right or property. So you've given the shit away because you've been misled. Okay. To go from, proceed, leave, go away, avoid, to go, yield. Yield or formally surrender something to another. Again, is from 1754. And let's remember that 1755, I think it was, that George Washington was leading a militia over here. And he was clearing the grounds for the firmament and the foundation to be laid. And this is why they are called the Founding Fathers. This is what he was doing a couple of years before he became the first president, the one to preside over the garden and subdue the earth, and to sit in the east of the garden, unfortunately, where the District of Columbia or the capital would be to this day. You can be the judge. Transitive sense, yield or formally surrendered from something. Okay, we already did this. Withdraw, giving ground, seeding. Okay. Turn upside down. A walking or going. So old church Slavic. These are the people that came over here. Slavic and those Euro Afro-Asians that came over here in droves later on to take your place. Because they use paper genocide in order to kill you off and turn you into the peasant or the undesirables. Okay? And we've listened to them since and we've gone with the flow. Okay? So let's keep on going. What else did I want to look at? Because let's see what you would have to do to somebody to subdue them. To conquer, to reduce to subjugation. But this meant deceive. Again, parables. Who's talking in parables here? Okay? a deceptive way of speech. Okay, to seduce, draw away, lead away. Aboriginal, carry off, withdraw. The primary sense of English seems to be taken from Anglo-French. Uh, Again, we're talking about subdue, calm down, the savage, reduce in intensity, the passionate things that we was just talking about in this chapter. Subjugate, literally to bring under the yoke, and I shall place a yoke of iron on their neck, or even remove the yoke of iron around thy neck. Under, to join. So then they tricked you into joining. Okay, now you're a royal subject. You're a subject of the crown because now you've been convinced to check that little box that says you are a citizen. Or are you a citizen? Quiet, lesson, to make silent, or fall asleep, like Jesus said that he wanted these people to do in Matthew 13. I could be totally wrong, but I'm just reading what it says. And I'm not going to use any bias, and I'm not afraid of going to hell or heaven. So I'm freely speaking my mind. I'm not around a whole bunch of people that think one way, so I'm going to think that way. I'm just reading the text and giving you the information. A back formation from subjugation, or else, okay? Again, to bring under yoke. Cinch, tame, domesticate, of animals, reclaim from wilderness. Didn't he say bring the wild ones? All the wild. We just said it. I don't even have to go back because you should be able to remember that I just said that. Okay. Take them out of the wilderness. Okay. Smoke them out even. Also of persons. Again, persons. Who are the persons? What does persons mean in the Black's Law Dictionary? What is a person really? Meek, gentle, natured, compliant, intent, or homely, or goodly, or godly, or holy, or domesticate activities, 13th century. Again, you could read that and then go back and see what happened in the third day and tell me that you do not come up with something that is pertaining to the same thing. Constrained to force, again, that is why the firmament had to come first. This is why the military had to come first. This is why the evildoers that contaminated your minds in the church and in the school system had to come first to break them, like horses, like breaking a horse. Tame. Okay. I tie up, fasten, tame. Possible ulterior connection, home, household, spiritless, weak. So you removed all this stuff, like what we just said in the other chapter, to remove all this stuff from your mind, and let them fill it with this belief or faith. Okay, so I think that was it that I wanted to look at right there. So let's just keep on going. So it said the ground covered with thistles represents a man who hears the message and cares of the life, and his longing for money choke out God's word, and he does less and less for God. Kind of like how Beyonce known, and I'm just using her as an example because everybody knows who she is. Oh, I came from church. I'm just a church girl. And then now she is doing some of the things that she is doing here. And what is it for? What is it for? And it's beyond money, because money is just paper. Why couldn't she break off and don't tell me she got to do it because they got enough money to start their own shit. But that's not going to happen. Okay, because they're just being used for the platform. They'll never be able to come out and do their own thing. And if by any chance these people start letting some people do things like Michael Jordan opening up his clinic or whatever this thing is, I haven't really even looked into it. One of my sisters on Facebook posted it, and I briefly read it and didn't really look into it. Okay, but it's too late. And even if they are doing this, beware of what they'll be doing to your things and your blood and stuff when you go to these clinics, these free clinics. Anything free, ain't nothing free. You see what I'm saying? Or if they start making it seem like, oh, there's a come up for black people, be sure who you dealing with. And I would start with community bases, not paying attention to none of these celebrities that they put in front of your face. Okay? So the good ground represents the heart of a man who listens to the message and understands it and goes out and brings 36 or even 100 others into the kingdom. Here is another illustration Jesus used. The kingdom of heaven is like a farmer sowing good seed, or goodly seed, or godly seed in his field. But one night, as he slept, his enemy came and sowed thistles among the wheat. Now, let's see. Let's see what sowed. I mean, we think we know what it already means. Type of cereal plant. Oh, Middle English. Grain of oat, plant, wild oats. A word of uncertain origin. Nodal. Denote a single grain. Dutch, a grain. Okay, but in Scotland, supports of the people. So again, selling your royal oats. We talk about, like here, I had pulled up something that says, um, let's see, poor whites, Americans' current crisis should have caught, okay, historical studies that turn poor whites into Celtic, ethnic, Scot, Irish. Mm-hmm. Red leg is a term used to refer to poor whites that live or at one time lived in Barbados, St. Vincent, Grenada, and a few Caribbean islands. Their forebears came from Ireland, Scotland, and the west of, I didn't get the whole thing. Um, okay, I think I already did these. The thistle, the thorns, and the rocky soil. We did that about the Rocky Mountains and how it's talking about Native American peoples known as Assiniboines or something, but I keep saying Abyssinian for some reason. Um, and it says white trash is a derogatory American English term referring to poor whites. And see, that is separating the waters from the waters. The waters above, that is those that work in that field in the pyramid. And then there is the ones that are at the bottom of the pyramid, but they're still over you. Okay, because this is their children. Like it says in Webster's dictionary that these were the American Aborigines or the copper colored people that were found here by the Europeans, but now the term has been given to the children of the Europeans. Okay, that nationality. Okay, so again, regret sowing, the notion of a crop that one will regret sowing. Um, okay, let's see. So that again, and then we're going to look at wheat. For some of y'all that think that I'm probably making this kind of stuff up, okay? Old English wheat, Proto-Germanic, okay? Old Norse havit, Norwegian havit, wheat. Old High German wheat, wheat, literally that which is white. So again, the wheat in the tares, separating them, sowing seeds. This is talking about amalgamation, creation. This is their creation story on a nation that was a pre-Adamic or a primitive people that were here prior to that. And they weren't all in no damn woods, in no trees, half naked. Before that era, there were empires here. The buildings are still here in a lot of your big cities with your post office, that with the architecture. Look at the architecture around your cities. Those buildings were built way before that. And again, a lot of the stuff didn't fall until the 1700s. Just wasn't told to you in that way. Okay? So let's see. So the thistles among the wheat. So his enemy came and sowed thistles among his white people or his white race. And I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I know that all white people were lighter complexion people. I think that they're darker. I think it's more of a term that is used in a sense that has been turned into a basic term to keep us talking about something that we don't know nothing about. Okay? So again, Welsh, wheat, white, again. Okay? Let's see. Okay. Told him, sir. Okay. Here's another illustration. No, where are we at? Listen to the message and understands, and it goes out and brings okay. Here's another illustration of Jesus used. The kingdom of heaven is like a farmer sowing good seed in the field. But one night he had slept, and his enemy came and sowed thistles among his wheat. When the crops began to grow, the thistles grew too. The farmer's men came and told him, "Sir, the field where you," so I guess the farmer's men came and told him, "Sir, the field where you planted the choice seed is full of thistle. An enemy," and then it says, "an enemy has done it." He exclaimed. "Shall we pull out the thistles?" they asked. "No," he replied, "you'll hurt the wheat if you do." See, because they can't remain on their own. And that's why he said, now I have created the herb yielding seed that has its own seed within it. So when they produce again, they will be what we want, the goodly white or wheat people that we would like them to look like. They won't be going back to what they were. Okay? So let them grow together until the harvest, and then they'll pluck them. Okay? And I will tell the reapers to sort out the thistles and burn them, and to put the wheat in the barn. Okay, so the ghettos for the Negro type people, or the one drop rule, and then the wheat in the barns, you can look at that as reservations for natives. That's how I look at it. Here's another of his illustrations. The kingdom of heaven is like a tiny mustard seed planted in the field. It is the smallest of all seeds, but becomes the largest of plants and grows into a tree where birds can come and find shelter. Again, this is what America is now. And while you are going through redlining, gentrification, being killed down, and all these other things, and you're looking at this Bible in the wrong aspect, somebody is feeling real good right now. Okay? And I'm not saying that it's everyday white people, the ones that are on the bottom of that pyramid. I'm talking about the system. We still give power to the beast, this beast system, not knowing. So the day people decide to pull their children out of school, stop going to work, stop buying this shit that they want you to buy, stop doing some of these things that they want you to do, and participating in building up the beast, then we'll see how fast it falls down. So, on that note, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please give me a thumbs up. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care.